Hey Kevin, Jonathan here, your New York correspondent. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So, anyway, I can't do it. No one can do the wave, the Kevin wave. Anyway, I'm here at the Uber Greenlight Hub in the Bronx in New York City. And first time I've driven in 2 years. I haven't driven for 2 years, so I came to reactivate myself. They deactivated me because I hadn't driven in a long time. So I went in, I was shocked because the place was not jam-packed. The last time I was here 2 years ago, it was all the Uber Greenlight hubs are always jam-packed with guys signing up, new drivers. Literally, there would be a line out the door at this place of guys trying to sign up and become drivers. Today, very empty inside, 4 or 5 drivers in there, kind of nice actually. I talked to the girl at the desk and asked her how things have changed since the new regulations went into effect. She said Uber had 100,000 drivers 2 years ago, and today they have 60,000 because for a year and a half now, no new drivers have been able to sign up. So apparently they've lost about 40% of their drivers over that time, which is great. I asked her if that means the drivers are making more per hour. She said, yeah, it seems like it. You know, she doesn't see what they make, but she talks to a lot of drivers every week. So she seemed to indicate that the drivers are feeling a little better, they're making a little more per hour, and that was good. But the bad news is my car, which was a super luxury high-end black car, is now only qualified for Uber X. This car is a Lexus, a luxury Lexus. Look, luxury, Lexus stands for luxury. Get it? Luxury. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean, right? So this car that I used to be able to drive for super high rates on Uber Black, which is awesome, is now only qualified for Uber X. Are you kidding me? But I'll probably make more because the rates on Uber Black were so high, nobody used it, and Uber never promoted it. So it was a service that almost no one used. And I'm going to be curious to see if driving this with fewer drivers on the road, a mandated wage floor of $17.22 per hour, which means Uber is anxious to keep all drivers busy so they don't have to make up the difference between what the driver actually earned in fares and what Uber has to pay them. So they want to make darn sure each driver makes more than $17.22 per hour net after all the fees and commissions are taken out. They have to make $17.22 an hour net. So I'm going to be curious to see if they keep you busy enough now, which sounds like they might, that you'll actually make more than that, which hopefully is the case. I also noticed at the airport when they have too many drivers or they have enough, they say it's full and they will not accept any new drivers coming into the airport queue because guess what? They don't want to pay for drivers to sit around for 6 hours like they used to. They don't want to be paying them $17.22 an hour to sit around with no passenger. So now that it's costing Uber a little money, they're like, oh, well, then don't let all those guys sit there and waste their time in the airport parking lot. That's what they should have done all along. They should have always said, we have too many guys, you're not going to make any money sitting here, so just leave. But no, if you wanted to sit there all day, they didn't care because it cost them nothing. So a guy like me would go in, I don't want to sit there all day, I want to get a trip out, I don't want to go home empty, but I would have to sit there literally for 2 and 3 hours, and in the black car up to 4 hours sometimes to get a trip. So I didn't do it very often. But on the times I tried, that's what happened. And it was a nightmare. It was so rude. I mean, it was rude. It was inconsiderate of the driver. It was just basic human decency, or it was basic human indecency. They were completely inconsiderate of the drivers. And if they'd been more considerate, they probably would have been making a lot more money. They probably would be a profitable company because when you're considerate of your workers, it works out well. It works out better for everybody. It works out better for them and for the company. If they'd been considerate of the workers, of the drivers, they wouldn't have hired far more than they needed, and each remaining driver would have been able to make a decent living, and he would have stayed around for a long time and not dropped off the system. And that would lower Uber's $1 billion a year recruitment costs. They wouldn't have to constantly be recruiting new drivers. they could raise rates a little bit because there wouldn't be an oversupply, a glut in the market of drivers, an oversupply of drivers in the market. Anyway, it's kind of nice to see that because of these regulations from the TLC in New York City, which are very similar to what it sounds like is going to happen with AB5 in California, that Uber has suddenly become considerate of drivers' time and not wasting it. They do not want drivers to waste their time now that they have to pay for it. Before, when we had to pay for it, they didn't care. They couldn't care less. You waste all day, they didn't care. But now they care. They have to care. They're forced to care, and drivers are apparently making more money now, which I will let you know. If I make more money driving this thing as UberX than I used to make as Uber Black, that would be good news, and I will let you know.